This is the S&P 500 one-month overview reading for the month of January 2023. It's currently December 7th, 2022, 11:04 p.m. Eastern Time. And the S&P 500 is currently 3933.92 at the time of this interpretation. So the overall theme and behavior, we have an important peak here, an important peak highlighted here in January. We move higher through a key resistance level on a 1 month, on like a 1 year kind of scale, or a 1 year kind of scale, multi-month kind of scale, let's say. We break through a resistance there and we stay above it briefly, and then we break back down through the same price level. It's combined with selling from near overbought territory as far as RSI is concerned when we're looking at the SPY ETF. We also spend the entire month under the influence of the Mercury retrograde. We come out of Mercury retrograde on the 18th, and then we're in the shadow period on the 19th. Now, the shadow period is a huge opportunity, guys. I'm recording this prior to the pre-shadow period, but once the pre-shadow period has passed, and the pre-shadow period is December 12th through December 29th. So whatever the S&P 500 does between December 12th and December 29th, it will revisit. It'll do that somewhat. The chart will look pretty similar as far as like direction and overall behavior from the 19th through January into February 7th. And it's a really big opportunity. I've been watching retrogrades and how they affect the S&P 500 since 2007. There's 3 of them a year, my friends. That's a lot of opportunity to learn about retrograde. So with that said, the behavior around the highest high for the month of January, there's 3 pokes through the same price level, followed by a sharp decline. So without looking any further, just off the bat, there's either 2 things that would transpire. Either we have like a peak that has like 3 pokes and we fall, or there's 3 pokes throughout the month and then we fall from the 3rd poke. We'll get into that, and we'll look a little bit closer in just a little bit here. Behavior around the lowest low, there's a significant drop to meet the lowest low of the month of January, a significant drop, or even more so, a significant opportunity at the low. So there should be a notable move out of the January low to the upside as well. Let's take a look at November, guys. So November, so if you've never seen one of these, if you don't know how to read one of these Eso-Meta analysis readings, so basically there's so much information, I needed to figure out how to read it visually to be able to see these patterns. So over time I learned to utilize color codes and shapes. And so when we have a green star, that's an indication of a prominent high. What's a prominent high? So this is a prominent high, this is a prominent high, this is a prominent high. A red star would be a prominent low, prominent low, prominent low, prominent low. When it's filled in, it's most likely location of a lowest low. When it's a filled in green star, most likely location of the highest high. So this indicates that we'll see a higher high in in December than we have in November, based on that being in the sneak preview. But let's get into it. Let's take a look. I think as far as chart behavior day by day, we were a little bit off here at the start. But as far as highs and lows, we have a high here on the first, on the second, and you can see basically came right off of that price level there. On the at one point we meet it on the second. So just off by like a bit of a day, not even a full day, I would say, and we fall pretty hard. I don't have a low correlator in there per se, but I do have a sharp drop on the 4th. Looks like I'm late. Looks like I'm late there. So on the 7th, we have, so that decline at the beginning of the day on the 7th, or at some point in the day on the 7th, there was a decline. That's what that little candlestick is, or that little wick at the bottom. That was an opportunity to open up a long position, and you can see we have a high here. A lot of price movement covered from that move on the 7th to the high there on the 8th. But there is a prominent high there on the 8th. We have a star there. Then we have on the 9th. This is where I had most likely the lowest low. So I was off about the lowest low, that's for sure. But this is where I had most likely the lowest low was on the 9th. We do have a significant low. It was almost the lowest low. Just off my game, I guess, as far as this first week. Interesting. Well, so not my best work, but thus far, as far as highs and lows, we've been pretty accurate. There was something misleading that came out on the 10th. And so, look at that misleading. So we went to the downside significantly. Right? And then on the 10th, we moved to the upside hard. Another high here on the 15th. That's the 15th, the prominent high. We have another prominent low on the 17th, another location. I said we could have the lowest low. Didn't end up being the lowest low, but like I said, guys, could be. Not always certain, but most probability. And then in the case of this, on the 17th, we did have a prominent low. On the 21st, another prominent low. We go up and then back down. On the 23rd, I think I'm probably off there. I'm off there on the 23rd. On the 25th, I've got a high. We had a prominent high on the 25th. And then it looks like right there on the cusp of the end of the month, we had an even higher high. So that may be the highest high. I'd have to look at December's reading like right now to be able to tell you. I just do too many readings to be able to remember what December looked like. Pretty solid. I'd say not my best work. I'd give it like probably like an 85. It's pretty low for me, actually. I'm not very happy with that because the highs and the lows are pretty on point. But this first week was pretty off point as far as overall chart behavior, and I missed the lowest low there. I'll go in and I'll take a look at it after this recording. I probably missed a correlation or something there due to distraction or something, some human error. In any case, with that said, let's get back into the January. So we have the second off. It's the day after New Year's, so it's observance of New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, I should say. On the 3rd, we have a decline into the end. It looks like a lower price level at the end of the day, most likely, and we have some sideways rotation with a sharp dip in that period of sideways rotation. That sharp dip takes us to a support level that was recently a past opportunity. So like something that we recently visited within like the last like 7 days, 10 to 3 days, somewhere in there. On the 4th, we have a prominent peaker crest early in the day on the 4th. And we move higher through resistance. We stay above resistance on a 1-month chart kind of scale. And then we break back down below that price level with a full retracement shortly thereafter, creating kind of like a capital A pattern in the English language if the price level was that horizontal line. The Magus card, we have a notable rally that starts from a low or a gap down early in the morning on the 5th. And there's a notable move higher. Looks like more rally towards the end of the day, and we have another peak. So we go from a prominent low for the month early in the morning on the 5th to another prominent high, peak or crest there at the end of the day on the 5th or early in the day on the 6th. And it looks like we decline pretty substantially, standing out on a 1-month chart on the 6th. We don't go as low as maybe the low that we see early on the 5th, but there is a notable decline on the 6th to create another trough. It's just likely not as low of a trough as the one on the between the 4th and the 5th there. This low here, it's giving me like, So I'm getting indications of the lowest low over here, but then like based on the system, but then this is standing out to me intuitively as a prominent low, maybe the lowest low. So if I'm wrong about this being the lowest low here on the 13th, then most likely it's because the lowest low was here on the 4th, 5th. I might be wrong and there's no low there. There's something going on over here. Something going on early in the day on the something like there's static. But with that said, there's also a significant trade opportunity there for those of you that signed up for the free newsletter and are watching the link that you get from in the free newsletter on our website tarotfortraders.com. You'll be at the end of this video. We'll explain all of the trades that we see, the best trades that we see for the month. And if you are watching this on the free version or the non-newsletter version, then you'd have to sign up for the newsletter to get the trades at the end of this free video. Both are free. It's just to get the trades that we see coming, you'd have to sign up. You'd also get it ahead of everybody else. The newsletter comes out on the 21st, and we're averaging like a 98% roughly average. That's like if I had 10 statements and 9 of them were correct, that would be a 90% accuracy is how we rate. So on the 9th, we opened higher. Also another trade opportunity I'll get into on the other version. And then it looks like we dropped early on, but then there's we dropped there early on, and then there's some sideways movement. On the 10th, we have a early move to the upside. Looks like we have a breakout there. But then it looks like we sell from an overbought crest or peak towards the end of the day. And then on the 11th, looks like first we have an unexpected move higher early in the day, and that's followed by a notable decline. Multiple headwinds towards the end of the day there. Or matter of fact, we could say it might be like a gap down overnight or something like that, but there's multiple headwinds towards the end of the day on the 11th, or overnight, between the 11th and the 12th that push it lower, and we see a low. There's a prominent low. This is one of the places with highest probability to be a low, but most likely this is a prominent low. My sense is that we have either the same low on the 13th or a lower low on the 13th. On the 12th, we have notable move, unexpected move higher. It looks like towards the end of the day there after we opened lower. On the 13th, out of a gap down or an early morning low, there's a notable move higher, like a jagged rally higher, and there's a key resistance level that's highlighted towards the end of the day is my sense. Also a trade opportunity there we'll get into in the newsletter version. Martin Luther King Day on the 16th, markets are closed. And then it looks like we may open lower on the 17th. We rally higher early in the day, and it looks we have a full retracement of that move to the downside towards the end of the day. Decline continues into the 18th. Looks like we might probably open lower on the 18th. Rally a little bit, then there's some more decline. But then that volatility there on the 18th ends with a fast sudden move to the upside towards the end of the day, and there's a trade opportunity there again. On the 19th, we have a prominent high here on the 19th. Now, it's not based on it is based on the S&P500. It's based on a strong cross correlation, a cross reading correlation. What do I mean by that? So on the 19th, when we look at the daily, we have the full card in the high significator position. It gets pretty definitive when you take a look at the 1 year reading, and you have the full card in the January cluster as the high correlator there in the January cluster. So you'll find that on dailies, these cards, like the significators, will be within close proximity. They don't always line up this like exact. Like you won't usually get like a high correlator matching a high correlator. Like that's just spot on. What you'll get is like you'll get an appearance of the high correlator from the bigger readings time frame somewhere on the reading, you know, that it correlates to. But here we are, the high correlator. So at the end of the day, we most likely have a highest high for the month. Advised to open up protection there as well. And then it's possible that we see that high again on the 20th. We decline from a day's high at least, early in the day, and then towards the end of the day there's another move higher, open lower on the 23rd, and there's volatility and a decline early in the day, a fast sudden move higher ending that decline towards the end of the day. Fast sudden move higher towards the end of the day, a big unexpected move higher towards the end of the day there, and then that's where we have the highest high again. It's either the same high or it's a higher high, and the reason being is that, so on the 24th, when we look at the one days, we have the sorrow card, which when we look at the 1 month, we have the sorrow card as the high correlator, so you can see how that happens, right? So there it is, boom. So this is likely another high, if not the same high, it'll be a higher high. But we have 3 pokes through the same price level as the high, so likely those are 2 pokes there. It may be that we have the same high somewhere over here, but I'll get into that in the question and answer section at the end of this video. So in any case, advised to open up protection at this high here towards the end of the day on the 23rd or early in the day on the 24th. Rally ends with the trade opportunity. It looks like there's a notable day trade opportunity on the 25th, and we decline notably there on the 26th. We're bound by the upper end of a range, it would appear. We move up into the upper end of a range early in the day, and then we decline away from that range towards the end of the day. On the 27th, a notable trade opportunity at the end of the day, and it looks like we successfully turn resistance into new support early in the day. Doesn't hold though. There's a trade opportunity there. Selling from overbought territory. Not selling from overbought territory necessarily, but we're at the upper end of a range there towards midday, and then maybe again early in the day on the 30th. Another lucrative day trade opportunity on the 30th. We move to the downside early, move to the upside late. It looks like there's a breakout at the end of the day. And then on the 31st, there's a significant decision between 2 leaders or an important meeting, like a FOMC meeting is something that you might see this card for, or like, what's it called? I saw the lovers card for the Fed week. It's either that or it's a merger acquisition that's significant and impacts the market that would be highlighted here. But I think it's probably a meeting of some kind. And off of a bullish move towards the end of the day on the 31st, looks like there's a peak or crest there. And we have a notable drop either overnight or starting at the end of the day there on the 31st into the first trading day of February. The sneak preview for the following month, my friends. We have sideways rotation along a key support level, and that's on the scale of like a multi-month chart. We rise off of that rotation to meet the nearest important resistance. We tap that resistance and then we fall back down and continue rotating sideways along that key support. We're going to get into the question and answer section here, see if we can identify some price levels. So stay tuned for that, my friends. And if you haven't, take a moment and subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, spread the word, my friends. Everything we do here is free. It's great when we get your help. Much appreciated. This is the Q&A for price level information, and for those of you that are interested, the original file was created on December 3rd, 2022. That's this file. I added the shuffle video to this folder yesterday, so it says it was created yesterday, but the photograph is of the end of this video. So, in any case,
this is the S&P 500 one-month overview reading for the month of January 2023. It's currently November 24th, 2022, approximately 11:10 p.m. Eastern Time. The S&P 500 at the time of this reading is 4,027.26.
Is the S&P 500's lowest price level of January 2023 taking place on January 13th, 2023? Yes. Does the lowest price level of January 2023 appear on more than one day in January of 2023? Yes. Is the lowest price level of the S&P 500 in January 2023 taking place on the cusp of the 4th and 5th of January 2023? Clear Kinetics, that's a big yes. Clear Kinetics is pretty reliable, my friends. Does the lowest price level of the S&P 500 for January 2023 take place on more than 2 days of January 2023? Yes. Does the S&P 500's lowest price level of January 2023 take place on January 11th, 2023? Yes. And there you have it. That's the same reading, guys. Does the S&P 500's highest price level of January 2023 take place on the 19th of January 2023? Yes. Does the S&P 500's highest price level of January 2023 take place on more than one day of January 2023? Yes. Does the S&P 500's highest price level of January 2023 appear on January 24th, 2023? No. Does the S&P 500's highest price level of January 2023 appear on the 23rd of January 2023? Unicursal. Yes. So like at the end of the day on the 23rd, it looks like. Is that right? Yes. All right, guys. There you have it. That's the S&P 500 for January 2023. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Most importantly, my friends, make sure you're following that rule of karma. I spend all night and day doing this so that you will make money and send it into the world and help people. So please do. Okay, guys, thank you so much for signing up for the free newsletter. Here's my gift to you as a thank you. All the trade information. So there's a notable trade. There's a notable trade on like a year-to-date kind of chart, or like on a multi-month kind of chart. There's a notable trade at the high end, at the low. Obviously there's a trade there, but this will stand out as opposed to other months out of the year. And it looks like what we have is a decline on the 6th. There's a notable trade opportunity there. So a decline on the 6th looks like towards the end of the day, I'd open up a long position, and I'd close that long position first thing in the morning on the 9th. Let's see what else. Notable trade opportunity. There's also a day trade in there, but I don't know. I'm not really seeing it on the 6th. So there's a notable day. There's a notable day trade opportunity there on the 13th, Friday the 13th. Be careful. I'm joking. So probably in the morning at a low after probably gapping down, I'd open up a long position, close the long position near a high towards the early afternoon. Got a low, like a month's low there. Okay, so in actuality, one could open up. Open up some protection first thing in the morning and sell that for a day trade. At the month's low, which looks through like it would appear somewhere between like somewhere between like let's say 1 and 3, somewhere in there, and then that's a decline. We hit a resistance level and then fall consecutively lower spikes up on the way down into the low. If you wait too long though, there's a fast sudden fire at the end of the day ending that decline, so be careful. At a gap down in the morning on the 18th, I could open up at attempt to establish support or re-establish support early in the morning. I'd open up a long position. I'd close that long position late in the day on the 19th. Probably late in the day on the 19th, maybe on the 20th, but based on questions and answers, late in the day on the 19th at a high. Looks like there's also a trade opportunity on the 20th, at a low for the day, early in the day. Open up a long position, close that long position early in the morning at a high on the 24th. Sorry, at a high at the end of the day on the 23rd, I should say, based on the Q&A. And then I'd open up protection. That's a notable trade there. I'd open up protection at that peak or crest towards the end of the day on the 23rd. Looks like I'd hold that protection. I'd hold that protection probably until Friday, like at the end of the day at a low. I'd close it there, and then on the 30th, I'd probably open up a long position to close at the end of the day on the 30th, and open up some protection on the 30th, possibly as well at the end of the day in anticipation of this move. And when we look at the 1 month or the 1 year, right, we've got like this big move in the second week. So like out of these lows, there's a big move, right? And then we fall from that, and we come to a low on the cusp, really in February it looks like. So I'm getting sirens. Sirens are the cusp on in February. The low in February. There's sirens associated with it now. That'll build. I'll get more out of that as it comes to me. But I take note of things like that because everything happens for a reason. So even sirens in the background, what you're thinking about, there's a correlation between them. This is how I found these patterns, my friends. In any case, that's January 2023. Thanks so much for watching, my friends, and I'll see you on the next one.